What is going on, you guys? Welcome to today's video. Now, if you missed yesterday's video, we picked up a 1987 Mark II Jetta GL. And honestly, I'm really excited about this car. She definitely needs some love, but exactly what we're here to do. Now, before we touch anything cosmetic on this car, we gotta make it run first. So from what I've been told, there is 3 things this car needs before it'll start again. Number 1, a new starter. Number 2, it needs a battery. And number 3, the negative battery terminal. For some reason, they cut the top section of it off. So we need a new cable, we need to put a battery in the car and the starter. Now, this car's automatic. Did a little research. Unfortunately, not like the manual cars, the starter's not on the front of the transmission, it's actually on the back side of the transmission. You gotta go through, support the engine from the top or the bottom side, pull out the passenger side axle, and they also removed the rear engine mount just to have enough room because the starter's on the back side of the transmission by the firewall and the heat shield and all that kind of fun stuff. Is there other ways around not pulling all those parts off? Possibly, but the video I watched, that's how they did it. So before we go in and do all that annoying work to get to the starter in the rear of the engine, I'm gonna put a battery in it, I'm gonna fix the cable and just see what the car does with power and then go from there, which they did provide me with a new starter for the car, but they couldn't find anyone to do the work because it's kind of a pain because on the back of the engine. But if we must, we must. But first, battery, cable, and just see what she does. I don't know exactly what it is, but these older cars, they just feel special, you know? So another thing I didn't show yesterday, this is my hood latch, because if you look down here, you can see my whole entire hood latch bracket thing is all gone. So, hello pliers. And then I noticed the trick to this hood, if you pull in the center, doesn't really move. You pull at this corner, pops right up, you know, just Volkswagen things. So here is our beautiful engine bay. Needs a deep cleaning and definitely a valve cover gasket, but it does run, so I'm told, so that's good. This here, one of our issues. For some reason, I don't know why, they decided to cut the terminal off the, I don't know. I don't know the reasoning behind this, but we gotta fix that and then just put a battery in the car and then we can see what it does. And then if I can't get it to start and it is the starter, it's back there, like there-ish. And it should be, you know, right here in the front in a nice convenient spot, but no, they put it there. Just, I don't why. Now also, I noticed yesterday, we have terminals back here. This is like welding cable. I'm just gonna pull it out now. Get all of this. So, pretty sure this is all like welding cable, which I'm gonna sell or weld it. Whatever that is, that's it to go. We got a car cover. Fancy. This is a new water pump. This is a new starter for the car. And then we have 1. Then we got 2. And then I think that's it. Oh, look at that. The latch cable. Broken, but kinda got it. Old hose, and then I got brand new dipstick. Interesting, kinda cool. So dipstick, good. This, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I might have to get a new one because this thing's kinda tore up, and so is this one. I might be able to get the cable inside here just enough to run the battery, we'll see. And then I don't need that. I don't need, well, this is broken, so. Okay. You know, I really didn't even look. Am I missing my dipstick in here? Oh, it's got one. I don't know if this one's for this car, but it is a new one, so I mean, that's kind of cool. Let's see if I can put this back onto here, which I can, but then to fit to the battery, I don't know. We'll have to see. I might just go to the store and get a whole new situation and fix all that, but I kind of wanted to see what it'll do with the battery and if it'll start or not. So since I don't feel like buying a brand new battery right now, we'll just steal the one out of that car. So there is a possibility that these 2 terminals could kind of sort of work, but I have to attach like these ones and the one from the start, which is this one over here, to the tops of these. I don't have hardly any hardware for this, so I'm not gonna mess with those at all. I'm gonna go to AutoZone, get brand new ones and a whole new cable, so I don't have to do any like splicing, fix that, and then get all these attached, which honestly, I don't know where all of these go. We have 2 there, this one, and this one, which this, like I said, this one over here, that one goes back to the starter. So that's 1. We have this, which the blue wire here should be alternator if I'm not mistaken. So that one and that one should be on the positive side if I'm not mistaken. We have this one and these two, which I don't know what these go to. This feeds back into the main harness. I'm still pretty new to the Mark IV platform, so I'll do some reading and see what these go to. But our first step needs to be brand new connectors here. You know, it's always cool to go from an older car and then hop in a newer car and see the differences, but to go from like the same model to a newer model and just see how far the car has really come is pretty cool. Which that isn't the oldest Jetta and this isn't the newest Jetta, but still going from Mark II to Mark IV, there's a significant age difference, and just the technology from that one compared to this one, it's crazy to see. All right, I need you guys to simply just listen. Ready? VR sound, I mean, just like it doesn't get any better, I don't think, honestly. All right, so we have got new terminals ready to go and some 4-gauge wire that has the little connectors on both sides. So this is all we should need to connect the battery, which I also have a photo of the battery in the car before they took it out, and I can see how all of the wires are ran. So with this stuff here, should be good to go. All right, so here is our fancy new battery setup, new terminals on, everything connected up, which I believe I did in the correct way. We have starter to positive and then our alternator, and this was all of our red ones to the positive. We have our ground strap going down to over there, and then our other two grounds are the ground side. So I believe that's correct. Nothing's melted yet, which usually if you have it on the wrong side, it'll start sparking right away. Nothing's happened so far, so we should now have power in the car. Let me grab my key. All right, so I see our clock's on. Let me see what happens if we... Okay, so I believe I heard the fuel pump kick on, which is good. I don't know if we have any fuel, but what I want to do is put the car in park first of all. I want to just see what happens when we try and turn it on. So it sounds like, if it does anything, let's see. All right, so 1, 2, 3. And nothing. So my air's on. I turn it off. Oh no, wrong way. I guess it's just like always kind of on. Does this work? Oh yeah, wow. Staticky, but radio works. That's cool. How do you turn off? I don't know how you turn off. How did I just do that? Hello? Hello? Oh, off, good. All right, try this again. So foot's on the brake, e-brake's up. All right, so still nothing. So either my wiring is wrong or I'm just missing something here. Let me double check. So I checked around up here. I believe all this is correct. It might just be the fact the starter's dead and not doing anything at all, which is why there's no click, there's no attempt or anything. I'm gonna do a little bit more double checking and make sure, but it's looking like our starter is just all the way dead. On the bright side though, headlights work, turns work, and side markers work, so that's cool. All right, so if you listen very carefully, I can hear what sounds to be the starter trying to go, but then it doesn't do anything. But if you listen very, very carefully, hold on. Hopefully you can hear that. Actually, let me put you right here. Let me set you in the engine bay. I'll put it right here. Listen for the click, you can hear it. Very faint, but you can hear it. So it sounds like our starter is completely dead. You can hear it kind of click, but not enough to even try and turn the engine over. So I don't want to go down there, but I'm gonna have to go down there. I'm hoping I don't have to do everything the guy in the video did, because he had to support the engine from the top, passenger axle out, which is very easy to do, a rear engine mount out as well, a little bit more annoying, and a heat shield, a few more things, pull it out, swap the new one in. It's not that difficult, but on the ground with no lift, a little bit more annoying to do. Okay, so before I fully dive into tearing everything apart, get to the starter. I'm gonna use a hammer and my pry bar, try and give the starter a few smacks, see if I can't get it to do anything at all, and then we'll start, you know, tearing stuff apart. So I tried smacking the starter a bunch of times, no luck, did the exact same thing. Turn the key, just a little clunk, and that's it. So the starter must come out. Now I have a new starter that came with the car, they never put in. But I'll be honest with you guys, I have no clue if this is the right starter or not. I mean, it looks like it could be, but I have no idea. So little research, make sure this is the correct one before I pull all this apart. I mean, it has to go apart either way, but if I don't have the correct part, I might not touch it just yet. But hopefully this is the right one for us. So after doing some research on the quality built brand here with this part number 16639, you can see the starter right there. If you scroll all the way down to fitment, we have right there 1985 to 89 Jetta GL 1.8 4-cylinder automatic. So this is it. This is the right one, which is good. I was kind of worried, but this is it. So we got the wheel off, and I'm thankful to say, still got plenty of tread on it. So that's good, because I actually like these wheels a lot. They're just like Steely's, but they got a cool like retro look to them. So I do like those a lot. Brakes have seen better days, but I've also seen a lot worse. I've also seen a lot worse. So the fact there's still some meat on this pad, that's enough right now. Other than that, looking up in the wheel well, no rust to be found. I'm surprised. I was worried about rust in this car, but underneath this car seems to be very, very clean, which I'm very lucky and happy about. So now, my friends, the fun part begins, because since that is the correct starter, we gotta tear this apart and toss it in. I'm hoping it's not as bad as it looked. It just looks annoying. Like I said, to go under the car, pull the axle out, the rear engine mount, and like, you know, do a starter back here versus a normal spot in the front. Kind of annoying, but like anything else, we'll get it done. All right, so if you join me under the car here, you can see that section up there in the middle. That is our starter. Somebody really said, this is where the starter should go, on the back side of the block. Someone thought this was a good idea. I swear to you guys, these automatic cars will be the absolute death of me. But, gotta get it done. So 100% axle has to go. That's a for sure. There's a heat shield that's up on top. You can see there's two screws on the right side of the starter and the back side. That's a heat shield between the starter and the exhaust right here. That's how you get loosened up and go. I don't know for sure. The guy in the video took this mount right here completely out, but I think there might be enough room with the axle out of the way, the heat shield off, to back the starter up this way and then drop it down. If not, I'll have to go to AutoZone, rent the little bridge for on top, support the engine, pull that rear mount out, and then it can come out. Again, somebody thought this was the way to go. We'll toss the starter on the back side of the block. You guys know I love Volkswagens, but sometimes I don't know how to defend it, because like, there's no reason for this. So I spent about 10 minutes with the picks here going through, getting all the dirt and gunk out of the axle bolts. But if you look back there, they're all undone and good to go. But these were easily the most gunked up axle bolts I have ever seen. Also, I had the pan down here just in case, because there's a seal behind the axle itself that holds the fluid in. I was prepared to have it all leak out, but thankfully our seal back there is still good, hence no fluid coming out. So the axle is out. The boot on this side is in good shape, but the one towards the front, a little bit tore up, but that'll be a problem for later. My main concern right now is just getting the car running. All right, so here's our starter with our axle nut out of the way. It looks like there's a bolt on that side and this side that hold this front heat shield on, and there's two, one there and one on the back side. And I think that's how I get the entire heat shield off and out of the way. And I want to say there's 3 bolts on this side holding the starter to the transmission, and then it's out. Now it looks like from the back side of the starter to the engine mount, there should be enough room to come this way and then down, but we won't know until I try it. But that's what I'm gonna try first. Side note, the bottom of this car needs to be pressure washed severely, but I will say the layer of gunk that's on literally everything is probably the reason why there's no rust down here, because everything's just covered in a layer of gunk and all protected. So it's kind of good. I want to clean it, but It's definitely saved my subframe for sure. All right, so I've made some progress so far. I wish I could film more, but it's just me under the car and my hands are greasy, so it's hard to try to use the camera. But if we look at our new starter, I've got this bolt on the top left out, and I got the bottom left bolt out as well. So those two are both free, the heat shield's free, those brackets there are also off. The last bolt, so engine block is right here. This is where the last bolt is, and the engine mount is right here. There's a gap right here that I might be able to go up and snake that way, or if I go from the top side down, maybe. Well, working from the top side down, I probably can't even show you. Let me try and see. You can see where the light is down there. The yellow cable and the black cable both go to the starter. I'll try and get an angle and show you this bolt that's back there. Let's see. You can kind of see, so there's this bar right down that little dark crack down there. That's where the bolt is. I was able to break it free. You actually see there's a crack between the transmission right here and the starter. So I got it broke free, but I'm making like those, you know, minute turns. It's loosening, but it's taking forever. And if I actually do get the bolt all the way out, which as it backs up further, my angles will be worse. So it might not even work. Putting the bolt back in will be impossible. So before it's too late, I'm gonna go to AutoZone, get the bridge, suspend the engine, pull the rear mount out, and just do it that way. It's more things to pull off, but you know, I tried my best to do it without removing the rear mount, which you possibly could, but way more headache than it's worth. So rear mount out and it's suspended, and then we can access the bolt on the back, pull it out, put the new one in, and then hopefully drive this car today. So I went ahead and called every AutoZone in Minot, which is actually like 4 or 5, which is kind of crazy for how small this town is, but not a single one of them has the engine bridge support in stock or even sells it at all. So that's out. It's also currently $8.15. So all the rest of the stores that would carry it, like Harbor Freight, Acme Tools, maybe Napa, there's also Value Parts, any of those stores are all closed. So have to wait till tomorrow. So the plan now, I'm gonna give this another 30 or so minutes, maybe try and get the starter out tonight because that bolt on top is already loose. I might try and get the rest of the way out, but then for sure for tomorrow, I'll have to have the engine support, remove that rear mount to put the new one back in. I think. I mean, maybe I can get it done tonight. I'm gonna give it another 30 minutes to an hour, see what I can get done. If not, we'll just finish it tomorrow. You know, one of the best feelings is when a car fights you and fights you and fights you, but you still win, because I will not be defeated. Our starter is out. I did not take the rear engine mount out. It's actually not too bad. I found this way of doing 2 extensions, this one and this one. You might have to use different sizes to get the length right, but you can go actually up and above the rear engine mount across the backside and get this one right onto that last bolt, which is right there, and you can spin it out. Kind of sucks and you're blind, but it does work, and I didn't have to pull the engine mount out, which is always good. So our old one is now out. I gotta swap over that cable to the new one. The other 2 plugs are still in there, but yeah, I win. I win, I win, I win. Now, I definitely don't want to get ahead of myself and celebrate too early because we still have to put the new one back in, but that one is out and I won. So it's looking like, depending on how fast I go, we might have a first startup tonight. I got pretty much no sun left, but I'm determined, so let's get it. You know, it might be fairly dark outside and kind of late. I think we're at, it's 10:08 currently, but you know what? It's okay. Check this out down here. Let me show you. Bam. Our new starter is officially in. It was not fun, but now that I know like the route to take with the sockets and that kind of stuff, it's not that bad, but the first time figuring it all out kind of sucked. But the starter is in, so gotta hook up the battery and test it out. Before I put like the axle and stuff, put everything back together, I want to test it first, make sure it works, and then if it does work and start, then we put the axle back in, and then we're done. Battery reconnected. Oh, come on, baby. Give me something, give me something. So, we are in park, e-brakes up. We got power, foot on the brake. Oh, please, 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 please. Yes! And she's dead. But I think, honestly, oh, that doesn't do anything. I think we're out of gas. My gas needle hasn't moved, literally, oh, it's not even focusing, but the gas needle hasn't moved, but the car started. Did you hear it with my no muffler? The car started. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. All right, so I'll try to give it a little gas this time. Maybe it'll stay on for a second, but we'll see. Oh, come on. I think I have no gas in this car. One more. One more. Actually, I have gas. Hang on. I have gas. 1 second. Actually, thinking about it as well, since the car is sitting at such a crazy angle, I'm sure whatever fuel's in there is at the very back of the tank. So I'm gonna do, since I know the car starts now, the starter's good to go, I'm gonna put the axle back, put it all together, have the car level. I have some spare gas over there. We'll put a little bit of gas in there, then hopefully start her up and let her run a little bit. But she runs. Yes! Back on the ground, everything back together, torque down, good to go. I put about 2 gallons of fresh fuel in the car, so hopefully she'll start up now and stay running. Let it run for a few minutes, but she's alive. Let's go. Let's go. Now I will say she is a little ticky in the front, but I don't know the last time the car actually ran. I think it's been about a year and a half, 2 years or so. And I also didn't check the oil, so it might be low on oil. But all that aside, she's running and idling. And she kind of sounds like a race car because there's no muffler, so. Look at her go. So I went ahead, checked the oil, it's right where it should be, and it actually looks pretty clean. So I'm assuming once the car just runs more and more oil cycles to the head, it'll quiet down a little bit. My original plan was to actually take the car out for a drive today, but it's kind of late at this point, so we'll save that for tomorrow. For right now, we'll just move from here back to over there and see how she does. Uh-oh. Okay, I think I got it. Nope. There's something with my battery connection. The wires is not quite right. Okay, so she's back and running again. Whatever reason, I didn't have my terminals, the little small wires up top, tightened up. I had to crank them down super, super tight, and now it starts up no problem. So now, we'll drive from there to there. So I noticed we have a little bit of coolant on the ground right here, so maybe we do actually need that water pump. I'll check and see on the right side what's leaking, but aside from that, she starts up on her own, she runs and drives, it goes into drive, it goes into reverse, no problem, I don't feel anything weird, and she eventually moved under her own power the second day. So I know we still have a ton of work to do on the little Jetta, but she officially runs again, starts, moves on her own power, and that was the main goal for today, which we accomplished. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Do not forget, be thankful for every single day. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.